Hi, I'm Katrina, and this is my video response for my social work class on the TED Talk Can Art Amend History. And I really liked this TED Talk. I thought it was really interesting, and it brought up a lot of questions that I had never really thought about before, and it also changed the way that I thought about a lot of things pertaining to art and art history and how art portrays people and people of different cultures and that sort of thing. When he talks about his son and his son pointing out the unfairness of the Native American and the African American walking next to Teddy Roosevelt on a horse, that is something that I definitely would not have probably thought of on my own, which I would love to say that I would have, but I don't think I would have because it's something that you see a lot. You see the portraits and you see the monuments with that kind of image, and that is something that is being discussed now because of the movement with the Civil War monuments. But even though they do portray things that is very unfair and they can remind people of very terrible things, and sometimes they do have people that are being monumentized or idolized in these monuments that definitely should not be idolized. Like they could have been chosen badly, or at least now looking back on it, we as a population, some of us think that these monuments do not reflect well on our culture. But when Titus starts talking about how even in the U.S. Amendment, we do not erase things. When we need to make a change, we leave in the old part, but we write in a new part that says this old part was bad, but we need to change it. So this is how we are going to progress past it. This is how we are going to move on from it, and we're going to make a change. We don't completely erase it. We don't try to hide it. We don't try to say, oh, that never happened, which we have done in our history with a lot of different things. We just try to kind of hide it. But even in the Constitution, we don't do that. And I feel like that is something that we should try to do with the Civil War monuments. We should try to amend them. We should try to change them to reflect the progression that we have made as a society and as a culture. Because yes, a lot of these monuments are not very representative of a lot of things. The civil rights movement also shows this, even though we made it past the Civil War, and slavery was abolished, and we made it to the civil rights movement, but things are not perfect yet. Things are not good in a lot of ways. Things are so much better, which is why these monuments, they should not just be erased, because it shows the progression. It shows that we moved forward, but we did not move forward all the way, and that is why we should just change them, because it will completely show the progression of time. It is a more visual representative of history instead of just reading it in a history book. Like Titus had said that he had a terrible GPA in high school. He was a terrible student, but when he started taking his art history classes, he figured out that he could learn things visually. And for some people, that might be better. It is easier to look at a monument and say, oh, this is what happened. And if we just erase or take away these Civil War monuments, it'll be harder to tell that story. But if we have the old Civil War monuments and then amend them to make them better, to fit better to our current time, then we will have a better monument altogether. Whether or not our society could come to an agreement on how to fix it, that is a completely other discussion because of the political climate that our nation is in now. And I'm not able to say whether or not we would be able to come to an agreement, but I definitely think that we should not just outright erase the monuments. I feel like they should be improved to make everyone happier, to show that we have gotten better in our society. Okay. Thank you.